Fogging it up, going to work. Today we're going to be talking about the Bullet RDA by a company called Sparkle. Yeah, I gotta say though, this thing has been kicking some freaking vape ass. If you're sitting in your den right now and you're watching this video and you're a cloud chaser or you're looking to get into cloud chasing but you just don't have that much money, this thing right here, it may be your ticket. May be the one you're looking for. 30 to 35 bucks retail online. It's super competitive, super affordable, and for what it does, man, it's for the cloud chasers, but it's not only for the cloud chasers. I think it's for the flavor chasers as well. I mean, the flavor I'm getting off this, like I said, it's kicking some vape ass. So I got this Bullet sitting on this IPv4 mod, vaping at 38.5 watts with this 0.32 ohm dual build. And the airflow, well, I've got her set to my preferred, which is 3 slots on each side. You'll see in the close-ups because there's like tons of different configurations that you can choose from. You see that right there? 3 on one side and the exact same thing on the other. And that is only at 38.5 watts with this 0.32 ohm build. What is that, 3.5 volts? I'm gonna take her up for you. Okay, so from 38.5 watts to 50 watts. Oh my gosh. She's a foggin', she's a chuckin', chuck certified, but she's also flavor certified. It's like hot dense vape, but it's not like scorching hot. I mean, it's something that, ooh, you just want more of it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're a hot type of vapor, or you like, you know, those hot type of vapes. And you got so many other features inside here, which I'm gonna show you right now. I'm a nicked up, woo! So are you ready, Teddy? Let's get to it. Here's the box this Bullet RDA comes in. Down here you have a magnetic flap. Pops it open, and inside you got your Bullet RDA along with some extra goodies, which we'll get into in a second. But right here you have some instructional manuals, how to use it, cleaning, all that good stuff. Oh yeah, welcome to the Sparkle family. And of course they have all their social media on here, their Facebook, their Instagram. Smart marketing right there. And where this magnetic flap comes together, it says thank you for carrying our products. So again, there's the Bullet RDA, and there's some extra goodies. And those goodies include a Phillips head screwdriver, some extra O-rings, some extra screws, and a 510 drip tip adapter, a Delrin 510 drip tip adapter. So this Bullet RDA is primarily made of 303 grade stainless steel. It's 22 millimeters in diameter and 43 millimeters in height. But yeah, look at her. I mean, they don't call her a bullet for nothing. She looks like a bullet. Very similar looking to a bullet. Now the inside, here's the drip tip, a wide bore competition drip tip. But in here, look at that. What is that? What is that? Inside that board down a little bit, you have a peak airflow disc. There's actually 2 of them in there, which you'll see in a second when I take them out. But yeah, that's supposed to create a swirling effect. And then down below, you have a peak subdeck. And what that's supposed to do is when you screw this thing onto a device, it's supposed to keep that device that you have it screwed onto cooler longer. So yeah, while we're down here, you got your 510 connection threads, which are smooth. But you have this copper pin, this copper 510 connection pin. But yeah, back up top with this wide bore drip tip, the bore it measures to be 12.5 millimeters in diameter. Laser etched is Bullet on here on one side and then on the other, and that comes out like so. So yeah, here's the wide bore drip tip / inner barrel. You got your double O-rings, and these O-rings are pretty thin. You know, they could have been a little bit fatter. When this thing starts to get a little juicy on me, juicy, when I'm juicing her up and I'm vaping her, that's what I mean. Okay, the tolerances get just a little loose. They could be fatter, but yeah, you got 3 slots on one side, a small, a medium, and a large, both on one side, and then you got 2 giant slots in between those. So up top you got 1 peak airflow disc, and then down below inside here you got another peak airflow disc. And in order to take those discs out, you're going to need this Phillips head screwdriver it comes with. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is take this disc out first, insert the screwdriver in one of these slots, and then all I'm going to do is just turn it to the left. Okay, there goes one. What I do with this one is a little bit smaller, but I insert it into the hole. You want to stay clear of these sharp corners because they are pretty sharp and you could stab yourself. Get it going like so. And then I just turn it with it. I go with it. And there she is. Pow! So here's a close-up look at each peak airflow disc. One is obviously larger than the other one. And on the outside of each disc, they are threaded. So there are threads, 2 sets of threads inside the inner barrel / top cap, which I'm going to show you in a second. And these things screw into those. And here's a look at the base of the inside of this inner barrel / top cap. Okay, at the base right here, at the bottom, at the top, well, at your top, at my bottom when I turn it over like that. That's one set of threads, okay? That's for the larger airflow disc. And then in here, up here, flip it. See those threads right there? Those are for the smaller airflow disc. So I'm going to pop the smaller airflow disc down in there first. Make sure she's completely flat. Take my screwdriver, my Phillips head screwdriver it comes with, and then I'm going to place it into one of those slots. And then all I'm going to do is just turn to the right. Next, I'm going to place the larger peak airflow disc in there. Take the Phillips head screwdriver, pop it into place or into one of these slots, and then all you do is just turn it. Turn it till she's completely tight, and we are good to go. We got both peak airflow discs installed. So here's the standard 510 drip tip adapter. It's a Delrin standard 510 drip tip adapter. Okay, you see those threads right there? Let me show you how it works. What you're going to want to do is pop her in just like so, okay? The threads are going to be facing the top or facing closer to us. Pop it in there. You got these grooves down in here, and that will come into play in a little bit. But you want to make sure that she slides all the way down in there just like so. And then what we're going to want to do is take this Phillips head screwdriver it comes with, pop it into one of those slots, push down into it, and then we're going to turn to the right. Okay, see that? Make sure she's tight. And you know the adapter's tightened in all the way when she is pretty much flush up top. Next up, we're going to go ahead and pop the airflow discs back in there, and you can pop this one in there. You're going to be sharing the threads with the adapter, but it still screws into the first couple threads, and it tightens up just fine. Pop it in there, pop the Phillips head screwdriver into one of those slots, push down, tighten up. Same thing with the other disc. Now I can use whichever drip tip I prefer. Boom. Look at that. You can see all the slots, the patterns. So here's the outer barrel. And as you guys can see, you got 4 slots on one side, 4 slots on the other, 8 totaling, and then you got 1 round slot on one side, 1 round slot on the other. You got 3 long slots, 1 small, and 2 large. And you can either line up these slots with these slots or these slots with these slots. First, the giant slots. Wide open. Now, before we get into all this adjustable stuff, they market this thing has 12 different airflow configurations. I'm just going to go through some examples. I'm not going to go through all of them, but right now they're lined up with the giant slots. You can turn them one way, close off 2, or you can go back, open up all 3, so close off 2. Leave the round slots open on each side, and then open up this little grid all the way to the right. Turn it. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes open on both sides. Close her off. Open up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes on both sides. 3 holes on both sides. 2 or 1. Oh yeah, and you can only run this thing in dual air hole mode or dual coil mode. But yeah, that right there is some examples of how this adjustable airflow works. I mean, you got multiple airflow options. Alrighty, so here's the deck section for this device. It's got a 3-post design. The negative posts are milled into the deck, and all 3 posts are square, which is good, especially for the positive post, so it doesn't spin if you're using the thicker gauge wire, 20 gauge, 22 gauge. You won't have to worry about the positive post ever spinning. As far as the post hole sizes, the positive post hole is 2 millimeters in diameter, and the 2 negative post holes are 1.8 millimeters in diameter. I know you guys can see that, and I gotta point this out, but look at those burrs in those post holes. I mean, it's pretty bad. You got some scratches on these posts. Look at that positive post. Got some scratches on her, scratches on the negative post, and those aren't my doing. Other than that, this device is pretty scratch free. I mean, it's of good quality, not great quality. You got your Phillips head screws, which tighten down to make a connection with all your leads. It's got about an average size juice well, 3 to 4 millimeters deep. Alrighty, it says bi-sparkle on this deck lip, and it's double O-ring, as you guys can see. And these O-rings are pretty thin, man. They are thin. That's one con I'm definitely going to mention. But the sub deck is also, I gotta point this out, the sub deck is made of PEEK. You know, I also prefer this setup as well for the 0.15 to 0.2 ohm builds, the 7-hole setup. You got the extra one at the top. So that right there is the Bullet RDA by Sparkle. Let's go ahead and take her back to FaceTime and wrap this sucker up, and I'll let you know where you can get one. Pro number 1, price points. This thing sells 30 to 35 bucks online, super competitive. 2, oh my gosh, multiple airflow options. You saw in the close-ups, 12 different airflow options. I mean, that's crazy. It reminds me of the Dark Horse, but it's even better. Really, really love the draw for this device. And those discs, those peak discs, definitely have something to do with that. It gives you like a typhoon effect. But you notice how I've had the drip tip in here the whole time? I've had that 510 drip tip adapter in there. If you're a cloud chaser and you're watching and you're using this, I recommend putting that 510 drip tip adapter in there. You know, a lot of these guys think, oh, the more airflow, the more clouds. Not necessarily, okay? If you can restrict her from the top, okay, and then you can set it to where you want, where you can open her up at the bottom, that goes hand in hand. Plus those discs in there, you can produce tons of clouds, man. Tons! Plus I think those peak discs do something to the flavor. It produces the flavor. It gives it that extra oomph compared to another RDA that doesn't have all the inners this thing has going on. Another pro, that positive post is square, and because it's square, you can use the thicker gauge wire, the 20 gauge, the 22, and you don't have to worry about it spinning. And also, that leads me to talk about post holes. The post holes are just large enough to use those thicker gauge wires like the 20 gauge and the 22. This thing has a peak sub deck, which means, and you know what, it works because this device hasn't gotten hot on me yet. I've been using this on this IPv4 for the last 2 hours, hadn't gotten hot on me once, so it's definitely working. Some other standard pros include this thing is a 22mm dripper for all you 22mm lovers. It's also compatible with all my mechanical mods. It's also compatible with all my variable voltage, variable wattage devices. Oh yeah, that copper pin at the base, the copper 510 connection pin, it is adjustable. And also the fact this thing comes with a 510 drip tip adapter is huge. I think that plays a big part in the vape quality for this. Quality control for this device, I give it a good 6.5 out of a 10. It's about average. I mean, there was a few scratches on the deck. You saw the burrs in the negative post. I mean, yeah, the burrs in there. As far as machine oil, there was some machine oil in those posts. It took me a while to get it out. 2 or 3 washes, which is a con to me. I hate that. But you're spending 30 to 35 bucks for it. One major con I found for this device is the O-rings. O-rings suck. They're too thin. They're not durable. I've gone through 2 sets of O-rings. I've already gone through all the O-rings they gave me. They keep snapping on me. It leaks like crazy all over my mod, and it's just an O-ring problem. If they fix that, Sparkle, if you guys put fatter O-rings on the deck lip, it would not leak. Do it! So there was 2 online vape shops that sent this bad boy to me to review for you guys. One, Wet Vapes, wetvapes.com. They're selling it for $34.99, and then you got a shop called Vivid Smoke, vividsmoke.com. They're also selling this bad boy for $34.99. Now on to the big question, the big answer of the day. If I'd have lost this today, would I go out tomorrow and buy one? And the answer is, you fix those O-rings, you put some fatter O-rings on there to where the tolerances are good, to where it doesn't leak, to where those freaking O-rings don't break on me or anybody else that's using this, and hell yeah, I'd buy them. Hell yeah, but for now, I just don't know. The vape quality is so damn good, I'm tempted to just say yes, but at the same time, if you're a consumer watching this, I don't want you to buy this and have major issues with it leaking, because I've had major issues. It's just, that's the only thing that kills it for me. That's the only thing. Other than that, this thing performs with the best of them, and for a great price point. This is Rip Trippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.